Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Melanie Dean. I'm a psychologist, a scientist, and a Hay House author of the book, The Hidden Power of Emotions. And you're listening to the Wave Maker podcast, where we explore how your emotions are real energy waves that are more powerful than you think. And so are you. When you learn how to tap the power of your emotions, you can attract everything in life that you want. It's not just positive thinking, it's science, and I will show you how. Love in your life. You want that. I want that. We all want that. And you can have that. Whether it's love that is growing from an existing relationship you already have, whether it's love in a new relationship, whether it's fun, adventure, and laughter with friends, love with friends, whether it's romantic love, new or old, whether it's companion love, rocking porch, sitting on the front porch in a rocking chair kind of love. You can have that love. We can all have that love. And the key is to start first with happiness with yourself. So being able to share love and happiness with somebody else starts with love and happiness being available inside of you. And you might say, well, that's a mighty tall order to be able to say, I need to be happy with myself when life is full of challenges and I'm not always happy the way I handle them. Matter of fact, sometimes life is just difficult. And you may, like all of us, have beliefs about yourself that, you gained from childhood experiences or from your parents, or a mixture of all of that with your personality. And maybe you have beliefs about yourself that are pretty hard to make you feel happy about yourself. Like maybe you have belief about you don't deserve to have a really happy relationship. That's a core belief that hopefully you'll let go of. Maybe you have kind of this imposter syndrome belief where if somebody really gets to know you that they're going to then see all your faults and then they won't love you anymore. Maybe you have a belief that there's just nobody out there that really would be a good match for you, that's just not going to happen. Maybe you don't even have core beliefs about yourself that are negative, but life is full and stressful and you're just busy navigating life and you think, I don't know how I'm going to get to a place that's like happy with myself when I'd have all of a full life and difficulties of family and work and to navigate. Well, those are all very good thoughts. It is life, and we all have that. We have core beliefs about ourselves that we have to be aware of and check in on, and we have life circumstances that get difficult and challenging. But it is not somebody else's job to fix your life, and it is not somebody else's job to make you happy. So when you, in your core, know that you can navigate and take care of the challenges in your life, you can fix what needs to be fixed. It may take some steps, may take a little time, a bit slowly, but when you know you can take care of yourself and take care of the things in life that are difficult and challenging, and when you know that in that power, in that knowledge, you can also let go of old beliefs that you truly know in your core aren't true, like a belief that you don't deserve happiness or something like that, or maybe a belief that you're not a very nice person or a likable person. None of those are true. And when you recognize and release those and find your own core happiness within yourself about yourself, that then is a place in which you can share those feelings of happiness with others. It's very hard to feel happy with somebody else when you don't feel happy with yourself? So you are then challenged, and your goal is to put yourself first. Concentrate on yourself first, focus on yourself first, and focus on a pathway for happiness. It is happiness, a pathway for happiness within yourself. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to be there, meaning you're fully 100% happy with yourself. That's kind of impossible because life challenges and circumstances are always unfolding. We're always responding to things in a way we think, oh, I could have done that better. So you're never going to get to a there place of being fully happy with yourself. You are going to be on a pathway where you feel really large pockets and swelling of happiness with who you are. Now, why is that so important? I'm going to share with you a little bit of the science of why that is so important, because in order for you to connect with somebody else in a way that makes your heart sing, in a way that truly brings joy and happiness and love and laughter through other relationships into your life, is really fully understanding how powerful those emotions are within you. So we communicate our emotions, our real energy. They are molecules of energy that get formed within us whenever we have an emotion. Our body creates loads of molecules, chemicals in our body to match that emotion. Now, you've heard of some of those, like you've heard of adrenaline when you're feeling in danger. You've heard of the molecule probably of oxytocin when you're feeling love. And you've heard of probably molecules, feel-good molecules of dopamine and serotonin. So those molecules, chemicals within our body get created whenever we have emotions. And those molecules, they have different kinds of energy at work within them that communicate both inside of our body and outside of our body. So for today, we're going to focus on one of those ways in which our emotions communicate outside of us to others. And this is why it's so important that you are connected to feelings, not 100% feelings, but lots of good feelings of acceptance and joy and happiness within yourself for yourself. Because when you have a true contentment within yourself, those molecules of contentment and happiness and joy leave your body, and they communicate with other people in close proximity. And those molecules that are communicating with other people in close proximity are called pheromones. Now, that's the definition of pheromones, is that they are molecules that are meant to communicate with like species. So your emotions, whenever you have emotions, they form molecules inside your body, like the ones we talked about, adrenaline, danger, or love molecules, or happiness molecules of dopamine or serotonin. So your body's producing those inside of you. When they leave your body, they are now called pheromones, because those molecules leave your body through your skin, and they are meant to communicate with like species. So they're meant to communicate with other humans. Now, all kinds of other natural plants, trees, ants, animals all produce pheromones. Trees produce pheromones to communicate with other trees. They send out molecules that say, wow, danger, danger, put up your defenses, there's a disease in the area. Or they send out molecules of taking care of each other through their root structure and of being safe in a good environment for thriving and growth. Or they send out molecules that say hunker down and preserve your water, we're in a drought, and so they communicate with pheromones. Ants communicate with pheromones. They communicate about who's to do what job. So you've seen all those busy little ants. Well, they're communicating about who's doing what, and it's through pheromone molecules. Well, we too, as humans, also communicate through pheromone molecules. And we have two primary ways in which these pheromone molecules are perceived and communicate with other human beings. The two primary ways are either safety or danger. Now, you will want to move away when you receive pheromone molecules from somebody else that they're dangerous. You, of course, are going to want to move away. You do not want to be with somebody that's dangerous. Likewise, if somebody is a safe person, they may even be emitting love molecules, because we have pheromones that are emitting love molecules. You are going to be more attracted to that person. Well, vice versa. If you are having molecules of emotion coursing through you that are emitting danger signals, then people are going to be more distant from you. Now, what constitutes a danger signal? Your body, when it is generating emotion molecules, it does not know the difference from when you are in danger from a perceived threat in your mind, meaning you are worried or panicked about, say, a change in your finances. Or you are so worried and you don't know how to handle a family conflict, and you feel really riled up inside about that and very anxious and very worried about that. Maybe you're very worried about a family member, or you're worried about something that's happening at work. So you have anxiety or worry or resentment or threat of some sort is how your body perceives that. So it creates molecules that are in the family of danger molecules. So when you are in a place where you are worried and anxious and fearful, your body will create molecules that match that. So if you are not feeling able to confidently navigate the challenges of your life, and you're not feeling strong in your abilities to handle them, even though you don't want them, none of us want challenges, but when you know you can navigate those challenges and you know you will navigate them, even when they're present in your life, you know that you can have some quiet time with yourself and you can figure out what is the best course of action. That way, then, it doesn't zap all of your happiness and your core contentment. You are just busy in the moment figuring out what's the best way to proceed. Now, figuring out what the best way to proceed are emotions of wondering, curiosity, thinking of how to navigate. So you're going to be keen on sorting through what is the best way. You're going to be paying attention to your quiet, wise knowing within yourself. That's different than frantic, frenzied fear, anger, worry, and anxiety, which swell up with molecules that are more in the danger category. So you really do want to be able to calm yourself, get in touch with your quiet, inner, wise knowing, and be able to navigate and fix challenges in your life so that you can have a core amount of contentment and happiness within yourself. Now, let's look at that core contentment and happiness within yourself, because those emotions automatically generate molecules that signal safety to other people. And safety, maybe perhaps even love, they sparkle within you. So they make your heart sing, they also put a sparkle in your eye, and those molecules are felt by other people. Even if they don't see you, which you can know that when people see you, they can tell the difference on your face and in your demeanor, whether you They want to approach you because you've got interesting and happiness and you've got something. Maybe you even have a struggle, but you're approachable with that struggle. So are you sending signals whether you want to be approached or not and are approachable? So people can feel that through the pheromones, not only with their eyes, of course they can see it with their eyes, but they feel it through the pheromones that come in through their skin and their nose. So that's the science about why it is so important to be able to have confidence in navigating and fixing your own life and not thinking somebody else is going to fix it for you, but it is finding a contentment within yourself, finding a power to navigate your own life, finding an acceptance of yourself for who you are as a person. And it's from that place in which then you are sharing energy that's attractive to other people and energy in which you have a curiosity and are eager to know somebody else. So I'm just going to share with you a couple of fun stories of people that I know in my life and how they were able to grow their love in an existing relationship or how they were able to attract new relationship. So one of my friends is named Julie, and she had a son that she was recently divorced. She had a son that was rather troublesome. He was growing up and had many difficulties that presented huge challenges in her life. Her heart was breaking many times in which she had to figure out how to deal with a difficult son, complexities in her relationship with her ex-husband, and life was not easy. But she did really focus on how to navigate those for herself because she didn't have a husband any longer to help navigate or go through life in partnership with somebody on that. And then as she navigated and she found she had an ability, even though it was really hard, to deal with complex difficulties with her son, that grew a core happiness within herself that she could navigate life. She was able then, as she's on that pathway, now she's not perfect, we're not asking anybody to be perfect, we're not asking you to be perfect, or wasn't perfect, I'm not perfect, none of us are perfect, but she was now on a pathway where she could find some enjoyment with herself and enjoyment with others. That space of finding enjoyment with herself and enjoyment with others then allowed an opening within her of some happiness and allowed an opening within her to be interested and intrigued and ready to meet somebody else. So one time she was at a social event with an organization that she was associated with, and she spotted a guy across the room, and she was like, Melanie, when I saw him, Shazam! She's kind of that kind of person, Shazam! She said, I just felt this flutter, and he's kind of cute. Well, now, it took her, she told me, it took her 30 minutes to get up her gumption to just go and approach him. And so they're at an organization, a common organization, and she finally got up her gumption just to go and ask some innocuous question that was in keeping with this organizational event they were at. And things bloomed from there. And a couple of years later, they were married. And so what that took for her to be able to have a new love relationship in her life that made her heart sing was, one, her feeling empowered and growing in her personal ability to navigate her own life and feel good about herself as a person. Even though life continued to throw struggles her way, she had a core of feeling good about herself. Now I'll share with you a little bit of a personal side of me and its effect in my relationship with my husband and my desire to grow a more loving, fun relationship with my husband. I grew up in a family with my divorced parents, and my mother was very critical. She was very good at being critical. So I grew up with seeing that being critical was a way of going in life. I also felt criticized, so I didn't feel good about myself. But nonetheless, I'm generally an optimistic person, I'm a happy person, and so I was able to still find plenty of happiness. After my husband and I got married, a couple of years later, I noticed that we didn't have as much fun, we didn't have as much laughter, there wasn't quite as much adventure together. I didn't feel as close to him. I felt kind of some distance, and that didn't feel very good. I wanted more love, more laughter, more closeness together in this existing relationship that I had. And so as I was pondering that, I noticed that, I kind of have my mother's critical thing going on. Like I'm always seeing things that are frustrating to me that he's doing. And so I just noticed that for a while, and I thought, I'm going to shift that up because I didn't like myself very much when I was being critical of him. That didn't feel good inside of me about me. I didn't like being such a critical person. And I noticed that as we would talk about different things, I kind of noticed in his eyes that he was always kind of wondering, is a critical remark going to come out? And so he had that question mark in his head. Now, he never verbalized that, but I could see it in his eyes that he was just wondering, is he going to get zinged? Well, now that's mine to deal with, this old pattern of being criticized and feeling like I wasn't good enough material, I wasn't good enough mate material, wasn't good enough person. Now I knew in my core that wasn't really true, but there were bits and pieces that still continued to come forward in that. My need to be aware of that and really let go of things about me that weren't true. And my need to be aware of how critical I was of him and meet my own needs around that. So my husband is a very artistic, creative person, and one of the areas in which I was so critical of him was the messiness that seemed to overtake every room of our house. So his creative, unstructured style just spilled out everywhere in our home, and I would get so frustrated and critical about him, in my mind about all that messiness. Well, I decided, I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to fix this for myself. So I slowly shifted areas of the house that were his areas. And in my mind, they were off limits to me. They were his areas. He could be as unstructured and, messy there as he needed to be. And I slowly reclaimed the areas that were our common areas of the house that I wanted to be clean and picked up because I like that. It makes me feel good. So over time, I fixed my own problem. I created areas that felt good to me, and I fixed that for myself. I never said anything to him. I just went about slowly moving things into the areas that were his areas, not saying anything, and slowly picking up the areas that were common areas that I wanted clean. Over time, there was much less critical, and our laughter grew. His wittiness, he's such a witty person, that grew. We had more adventures, there was more closeness, and there was more love. So there are lots of ways in which you can grow a happiness within yourself. I remember another friend of mine named Janice, and she had 3 young children. And she was in a tough position of being in a relationship in which she was deciding to leave that relationship, and then she ultimately did decide to leave it. Her husband criticized her and blamed her, and she felt terrible about herself as a person. And she was aware that she felt terrible about herself as a person and at that time, and that she didn't feel safe in that relationship. So she decided to leave it. And when she left it, she still didn't feel very good about herself. And she had 3 young children. And she felt inadequate as a person. And she felt that she was not deserving of a good relationship because she believed the negative messages and the blaming and attacking comments that her ex-husband had said to her and was so predominant in their relationship. So over time then, she really did sort that through. She got some help from a therapist. She really sorted through that she's not an inadequate person. She is a deserving person. And she let go of the false negative beliefs that she had absorbed that simply weren't true for her. She then was faced with not feeling good about herself with her body. She didn't like the way she looked, and she didn't like the way that she felt about herself and her physical body. And so that was also part of what she worked on and sorted through, and she got some help to do that. And I remember when she fully threw away the thoughts that somehow her shape and size had anything to do with whether she was a good person or lovable or adequate or deserving or any of those things. And I remember seeing her, and she had exuded this happiness. And I was like, Janice, wow, you're really coming into yourself. And she just beamed. Well, it was so interesting. It was really not long after that she met somebody that really did make her heart sing. And that somebody was fine with having 3 young children. And since then, they've added a 4th. And she was able then to attract a relationship to her that felt really good and made her heart sing because she did the work to let go of what was false about her, really see herself for who she was and feel good about herself. She then had that to share in a new relationship. Now, I also just want to share that getting in touch and finding new relationships can happen in many different ways. I'm thinking about my brother, Paul, and and when I introduced him to this woman that he fell in love with, and she fell in love with him. But we'll back up for a minute. My brother was divorced, and he had mostly grown children, 3 children that were mostly grown. And he was dating a variety of different women. He was looking for a new relationship, and he would bring the women around, and we would have dinner, and we would, socialize and get to know them. And none of them were really quite right for him. And one time he brought a woman, and he brought her around several times, so he was kind of liking her. She was okay, but I didn't think she was a super great match, but he was kind of liking her. Well, one day I was at a spiritual retreat for myself, and I met this woman named Sandy, and we're just talking. I had just met her, and we're just talking, but I like her so much. And she mentioned that she was a widow, and she was looking for a new relationship, and she was not going to just settle for any relationship. She wanted one that made her heart sing. And do you know, immediately my brother pops into my mind. And that just the image of my brother pops right there fast into my mind. Well, I didn't say anything to her. I didn't know her very well. And my brother was dating somebody. Well, as I got to know her more, we had more occasions to get to know each other. She was so much fun. And my brother's image kept coming to my mind. And I kept thinking, I need to introduce those two. But he was dating somebody. So when I said to him, I saw my brother one time, and I just said, when you're done dating her, let me know, because I have somebody I want you to meet. And he didn't say anything. But about a week later, he calls me and he says, Melanie, okay, who do you want me to meet? Well, I set up Sandy and Paul, and I arranged a time for them to meet. And they were absolutely joined at the hip ever since. So you never know how you will come to know of a relationship that is one that will work for you. If you are not open and out there and talking and meeting people, because remember, Sandy was out there and she had joined this group I was part of at this spiritual retreat. That's how we met. And then she joined some other activities that I had also joined. And you also never know what can blossom within relationships that you already have if you don't sort through your own items and free yourself up to find happiness and contentment within yourself. So I will give you your key steps in being able to create space for navigating and feeling the happiness and the joy and the freedom within yourself to really grow new love in your life. And liking yourself and being in touch with your core contentment with yourself is the place from which then you will be able to share that core contentment with others, and others are going to be interested in getting to know you. So the next step is having quiet time with yourself and envisioning, what will be fun for you? What kind of person do you want to meet? Or do you want to grow fun and happiness with existing relationships that you have, with existing friends, and you want to have some adventure and fun and laughter with existing friends? Do you want to grow love and fun and laughter and happiness with an existing relationship and improve that? Do you want to attract a new relationship in your life? And envision that. Feel the core of what you desire in your quiet time. And in that quiet time then also just tune in to your inner wise knowing, ideas and thoughts about how to proceed, perhaps hunches and nudges, like the image I had of my brother that just popped into my mind. Or maybe in your quiet time, you think, I hadn't thought about joining this particular group that you'd heard about a long time ago, and maybe that idea sparks something in you, and you have a nudge and a hunch on what to do. Which leads us to the third step, which is taking action. You cannot create something new in your life if you stay doing it the same old way. So you're going to take action in doing it a new way. Is it a new way in which you see somebody else with different lens, and that opens up happiness between the two of you, like when I let go of the critical lens of my husband? Is it a new way in which you're opening up to a new relationship? Is it a new way in which you get involved and have activities with friends that feel fun and adventuring, and you have friendships that just fill you to your core with love? But you need to take action and get out there so that you are creating this newness in your life that you like. And the last step that's so important is to pay attention to those pheromone signals. Remember, we talked about the science of why this is real energy. Your pheromones are out there communicating the emotions that you have within you to others, and their pheromones are communicating to you. So you need to pay attention to what you're feeling about the other person. Don't dismiss it as, oh, well, I probably don't really know, because you probably don't actually know, but there is a part of you that can feel their energy. That's what that pheromone is. Now, feel whether that feels safe and attractive energy that you think, I would like to get to know this person more. They may not be somebody you want to continue to spend time with, but you will learn something about yourself. You'll have some enjoyment with getting to know somebody more, and you'll continue to do that over and over until you find more avenues for love that grow in your life. So pay attention to those pheromone signals from other people too. Use your scientifically real emotions of the pheromones that get shared, your emotions that get shared with others, to help yourself out. You're going to get in touch with your core contentment with yourself, your happiness with yourself, and those are the feelings that you will be sharing with others. Even if you are navigating challenges, you can navigate those challenges with a core genuineness and a core contentment with yourself, even though life may be hard. So you don't have to be disingenuine with somebody. You don't have to share and put on a happy face. What you have to do is be genuine with yourself. You can acknowledge to somebody else, geez, it's a really challenging time right now. I know I'll get my way through it, but right now it's kind of challenging. That's a very different way of feeling about yourself than if you're feeling, oh, I am never going to get through this. I have no idea. And you feel so sunken down with misery inside of yourself that you cannot share and have interest in somebody else. You can't share a core of contentment within yourself because you're not in touch with that core contentment within yourself. So navigate to a place within yourself where you have some core contentment, you have some more core happiness, and then even if you're in challenges in life, that doesn't mean you can't meet new people. You will just have a very genuine and content way of sharing yourself with others. So you can share the happiness when it's all there and life is flowing full of good things, and you can also share the genuineness of yourself and struggles with your core contentment when you're meeting new people. It opens up the pathway and the avenues for friendships and love and laughter and caring in your life. So pay attention to the signals you receive from other people, and mostly here's to shifting your emotions so that you can live your most powerful life and have the love that you want to the fullness that makes your heart smile and makes your heart sing. That's all for today's Wavemaker podcast. Thank you for listening. I have so much more to share with you, so be sure to tune in next month. And remember, go to my website, www.melaniedean.com, and join our free Wavemaker community, where you will receive even more science-backed advice for unlocking your emotional power.